Who I believe to be the true birthers of choosing beggars, it's entitled parents.
Our first one is from Please Don't Refer to Me. A few days ago, my family met at my great-grandparents' house for a family Christmas celebration. My great-aunt, grandma's sister, was there with her grandson, his wife, and their child. This particular aunt is always causing drama in the family. We'll call her R. My dad took me to get my septum pierced for my 18th birthday early in 2023, so I've had it pierced for a while. I've only had the plain silver horseshoe I got back when it was first pierced for a while, but I recently got a new horseshoe piercing decorated with a bee on one end and a honeycomb on the other. It stands out more than the other one, so I guess she finally noticed it during our celebration. I was sitting on the stairs with my brother. As always, R was sitting on the floor across from the stairs with her great-granddaughter, S, and two of my younger cousins. She stared at me for a while, which I assumed was because of my hair, because she's never liked the fact that I shaved the sides and got an undercut. Instead, she asked me if I had my septum pierced. I said I did, and she simply asked, "Why?" Before I could even answer, the answer would have been something along the lines of, "Because I wanted to." She goes, "You know, they say that a woman gets her septum pierced so her husband can attach her to a leash and drag her around by it." She actually said that in front of the three younger girls in the room. My aunt and uncle, who were sitting on the couch off to my left, were shocked. Since none of us wanted to cause a scene, we just kind of laughed it off. I was a bit snappy and said, "Well, mine is a horseshoe, not a ring, so it doesn't matter." The topic was dropped for a while. Later, after we all ate lunch, R cornered me by the bathroom after I washed my hands and demanded I take the piercing out because I was being a bad influence to poor S. S was too busy playing around in her new princess dress to notice anything anyone else was doing, so that was bull. I'm a very high anxious person normally, but this bitch of a lady has had something against me and my dad basically my entire life, so I was sick of her shit. I told her to back off and to stop judging me and my decisions when she screwed up her own marriage so much that her ex doesn't even like being referred to as her ex because it connects him to her. She gave me so many nasty looks the rest of the afternoon, but I didn't care. I'm already planning on getting more nose piercings. Her stupid ideals can't stop me. The fact that she went out of her way thinking shaming you in front of family was gonna actually do something and better her cause, I still, after reading this, can't even figure out what her real cause is outside of being an absolute fucking nuisance and making herself look dumb in front of the family. And our final one is by Adventurous Panic 91. I don't know where to begin. I just need a place to vent. I, 31 female, am due to have my first baby in just over 5 weeks' time. My pregnancy was a surprise, and it's been a difficult 8 months thus far. Although low risk, I've experienced every symptom you can imagine, from intense morning sickness to migraines and carpal tunnel syndrome. I've also faced some pretty intense discrimination at work, despite maintaining a high rate of performance throughout the year. All of this to say, it's been a rough year. I've had little support from my family this year, and their nonsense has seemingly known no bounds. Since around May, they've been asking my partner and I to make the 10-hour drive interstate for Christmas so that we could spend it with them. This would be fine, but my doctor has repeatedly told me not to do this, as I'll be at 36 weeks at that point and prone to blood clots. Despite this, they've continued to pester my partner and I about it. At one point, they proposed coming to us for Christmas, but then swiftly shut down their own idea when they immediately realized it would be an inconvenience to them. Recently, my dad was diagnosed with some health problems of his own, which he's been told is completely treatable with surgery and some medication. Regardless, I have called every other day to check up on him and to see how he's doing. In the last few weeks, My mom has started telling me how awful birth was for her and every other woman on both sides of my family. I kid you not, every time she calls, she encourages me to plan a C-section and drops some new detail about a relative who had had a traumatic birth experience. I've told her that her comments are unhelpful and she's known for months that I don't want a C-section if I can help it. She constantly says things like, "If I had my time again, I'd plan a C-section," as if it's an easier option. I wondered why she started down this path, until she started making comments about Dad's treatment plan and appointments, such as, "We might be able to make it out to see you for a few days in January, but Dad might have to go to an appointment on the 18th, and then again on the 31st, and then after that, we can't visit for a while because Dad might need a surgery." I snapped and told her that I would not and could not plan the birth of my child around their schedule, and that they shouldn't bother coming. They haven't even asked my partner or I if we want extended family present directly after birth. We don't. I was so scared about the birth and was starting to feel somewhat comfortable with the idea of it all when my mom started making these comments. Every time I've told her that I'm upset about their comments or their lack of normal, healthy support, my mom has told me that I'm just hormonal and that everyone has their own thing going on. I'm so sick of their shit and ready to cut them off for some time. I feel like they've made the birth of my little girl all about them. They've compared the potential surgery my dad might need to my birth, talking about the catheters and IV drips like I won't need a similar setup, particularly if I go down the C-section route. When they did come to visit earlier in the year, they made comments about what I was eating. I was 24 weeks pregnant at that point. One of my unhealthy options was a few chocolates after dinner. I don't even know what to say or do. All of this has made me reflect on my childhood, and I can't help but feel sad about that too. I've spent the last few weeks just crying about it all, and I'm so tired of venting about it to my partner. Thanks for reading if you've come this far. I just needed to vent. See, this kind of situation, I genuinely feel bad for the OP because when you really need that familial support and it's just not there, you end up in a really fucked up situation where you just don't want to overwhelm the one person who's supporting you. And I get that. I'm so sorry that they have to deal with family like this that makes everything seemingly about themselves instead of actually respecting their child and what their child wants. I don't know, these kind of parents really piss me off. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled Parents. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.